Hey guys. I did not write that, so did not call myself brilliant. Well, thanks for coming out on a Friday night. Yeah, this was definitely not my first choice of what to do on a Friday, so sorry guys. So yeah, I work at Kingdom Workers, and to be honest, I never saw myself working for a Christian organization, let alone being affiliated with the Wells of all places. Well, hold on a second. Where do you all go to school? Because I know we have a mix.
I quit.
You quit. Okay, cool. Good choice, good choice. Are you allowed to be here, or do you have to? Okay, all right. It's true, the smart kids travel. No, so MSOE, UWM. Yeah, MSOE. Okay, UWM. What else is there? Marquette? All right. Oh, WLC? Concordia? Is there anywhere else? No. Okay. Well, I went to WLC and I hated it. I hated every second of it. For most of my college career, I actually hated other Christians. I grew up Wells, by the way. Like, my dad's a pastor. But I spent all 4 years after going to Luther Prep, living with other Christians 24/7, just hating it. And then working for 4 years, it was pretty much just avoiding church. Pastor Strong can attest to this. Like, he hasn't been at Grace long, but he knows, like, I'm an avid church skipper, like, on the regular basis. But it's just recently that I got back into church. I credit Kingdom Workers with finding my niche, I guess, within Christianity. I get really emotional talking about it, so I'm sorry. You're gonna have to deal with tears. So yeah, that's me, just a regular kid who actually finds Christianity really cool now. Yeah, so let's nerd out together. First things first, what do you know about Kingdom Workers as an organization, if anything at all? Just throw it out.
It's really volunteer-based.
Volunteer-based, yep.
Do you have college kids like travel for spring break and do stuff?
Yeah, we have college kids travel and stuff during spring break. What else?
You help do like building projects and stuff, I think. Maybe that's not right.
Yep, that's part of it. We have kind of like a different segment of Kingdom Workers called Builders for Christ, and they go around volunteering their time. They're mostly like retired people. They're like in their 80s, the majority of them. They like camp out on a building site and just like live in RVs for weeks at a time. But yeah, up until this point, that's pretty much been Kingdom Workers. It's like going on little trips and trying to get college kids into outreach and canvassing, which we all know canvassing is not the sexiest of outreach work. Like, outreach as itself is like the most boring word I've ever heard, but when you think of canvassing, it's like, great, I get to go knock on doors and like hand out flyers. Awesome. Am I making you uncomfortable because I'm calling it out? A little bit? A little bit? It is true. It is true.
Makes me want to quit.
Throw that out. That is not Kingdom Workers anymore. We're not sending, well, I shouldn't say never. We're not focusing our time on sending you guys out. We're focusing our time on creating these small little sustainable programs all over the world. And we're gonna take a look at that. We're also gonna see how you could see yourself in a new story and how that might fit into what we like to do. Might not, but we'll see. So we got to that already. On your sheets, we're gonna do a mini Bible study. Yay! So going around the room, we're gonna go verse by verse. Just read a verse, pass on to the next person. We'll start with you in the sweater and glasses.
Perfect, okay. A few days later, when Jesus again entered Capernaum, the people heard that he had come.
They gathered in such large
Oh, should I be louder? Yeah, I'll start.
Yay, mics! IT.
Is this working? Oh, it is. Okay, good. A few days later, when Jesus again entered Capernaum, the people heard that he had come.
Since they could not get him to Jesus because of the crowd, they made an opening in the roof above Jesus by digging through it and then lowered the man. The mat the man was lying on.
Yay, good job.
When Jesus saw their faith, he said to the paralyzed man, "Son, your sins are forgiven." Now some teachers of the law were sitting there.
Why did it die? All right.
Just yell.
I'm loud. We did. Why does this fellow talk like that? He's blaspheming. Who can forgive sins but God alone?
Immediately, Jesus knew in his spirit that this was what they were thinking in their hearts, and he said to them, "Why are you thinking these things?
Which is easier, to say this to the paralyzed man, "Your sins are forgiven," or to say, "Get up, take your mat, and walk"?
But I want you to know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins. So he said to the man,
I tell you, get up, take your mat, and go home."
He got up, took the mat, and walked out on both knees and wall. This amazed everyone, and they praised God's name. They had never seen anything like it.
Well done. Who thought that was boring as crap? Anyone? Okay.
What part of it exactly?
What part of it?
Like, reading the Bible is cool. I'm not sure what part you're referring to. I don't know. Maybe I just thought it was moderately interesting. Whatever.
What?
Never mind. Just don't listen to me. I'm good food today.
Okay, so I was the only one who read that and was like, I've heard the story since Sunday school, heard it in grade school. I know the story. You probably could have told it almost verbatim to me, just asking, hey, tell me about the paralyzed guy that got dropped down through a roof. Yeah? Okay. Yep, yeah. That's pretty much how I felt when I first read it. I was like, yep, know it, cool. It's like that classic Bible style, just the facts. All right, this time you can read it to yourselves, and as you're reading, or you can read it first and then afterwards, there's a sheet behind it, and there's 2 circles with, I think, the crowd and the paralyzed man. All right, read those verses again, and forget about Jesus. Just like throw him off to the side, just temporarily. Forget about Jesus, focus on the other people in that story and what they might have been thinking or feeling. And I'll give you a couple minutes. All right, let's just go through whatever you thought they were feeling, starting with you, because I'm standing right by you.
Me?
Yeah, let's start with the crowd.
I guess the first thing I noticed is they realized Jesus had come home, and there was just a huge crowd, so everyone was just super stoked that he was home.
Do you think, okay, yeah, that's good. All right, I'll stop bullying you.
All right.
What about this table, the crowd?
I would say surprise. I think it's interesting that Jesus said your sins are forgiven when, like, they obviously came to have him healed, but he says your sins are forgiven. They're probably like, what the heck is this guy doing?
Okay.
Like, angry surprise.
So I said forget about Jesus. I'm just kidding. What else? What about this table? Yeah. What the hell do these people think they're doing? Breaking through this roof. Thank you. All right, over on this side.
Okay, perfect. So we thought thinking it's like Black Friday shopping, and just because it's so packed, there's so many people. Like, yeah, they have to open up the roof. That's kind of crazy.
Oh. notes. That's fine. All right, did you have something? You looked like you had something. No. Okay. Yeah, the crowd is kind of this mixed bag. There's some that are really excited. There's probably some who are like going along like, oh, what's going on? Who's this guy? Jesus, right? And then you also have the teachers of love sitting there like, this guy, seriously? He says he can forgive sins. Who is this guy? All right, paralyzed guy. He didn't come there on his own. He was brought there, right?
Being taken to this house.
Wanting to be taken to the house, yeah. What else?
He's gotta be pretty like scared. He's being lured from like a horse.
Yeah, definitely. There's some fear. You, sir? Yeah, like, oh, thanks a lot. Yeah, what do I've got to lose? I'm paralyzed. I have no other chance. Maybe I don't know who this guy Jesus is, but I've heard some really weird things, and maybe you can help me out. All right. Comb through that again, and on your third sheet, there's the friends. There's 4 dudes who decided to break through a roof. I want you to write down what you think they were thinking and feeling. And you have 2 minutes, and we're going to talk about it. Yeah, it was worth it. It was worth the risk. Yeah, I always think of them walking up, and there's probably like people walking faster than them because they have to carry their poor buddy on his mat, like on a stretcher. So there's at least 2 of them carrying him, and they're like going as fast as they can. And then there's like all these crowds just like whizzing past, and then they finally get there, and it's like a line like snaking around the block in Capernaum because they had blocks, right? And they're like, we got here too late. They're probably a little disappointed. And they're like, okay, well, we got to get in there. But it's not through the door. We tried that. So maybe we can get through a window. And they like go up and they peek through. They're like, it is packed in there. Even if we break this window, because they had glass windows, we're just going to get glass everywhere, and we still aren't going to get in there. And we still can't get our buddy to see Jesus. And then you know they had like wives and girlfriends off to the side, and like the guys are like, what are we gonna do? We could tunnel underneath. We could like come up through the bottom, and the women are like, no, you get a ladder, like you go find some rope, right? The guy's like, oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, okay. So it was worth it, right? There's like all these feelings. They're literally breaking through someone's home. They're climbing up there and like pulling apart their roof. So there's a bit of like, oh man, I'm breaking someone's property. I'm probably gonna get in trouble. B, there's this guy Jesus, who we clearly believe in at least a little bit. And if everything we've heard about him is true, then he might be pissed when he sees us breaking our neighbor's stuff. Right? He's going to go Jesus in the tabernacle on this and get so mad at us that we're not going to get our buddy healed. But it was worth it. Do you guys get that? Like, it was worth it to try. And they're okay with breaking the rules a little bit and finding a different way to do it. Oh man, I have like another camera. This must be a good presentation if I'm mic'd and I have like, okay. You don't really know much about Kingdom Workers yet, but if you were going to take a guess, who do you think Kingdom Workers is in this story? The friends, yeah. These look great on screen. I pulled these off the internet, obviously, because I didn't draw all of them. Those guys, like, aren't even in these depictions. They're, like, off the frame. One guy is lucky enough to have his ankle, like, hanging down. This like black and white one, although they all look black and white up here, they're not even in it. There's just like a hole with ropes. I mean, that's how it should be, right? I told you to ignore Jesus before, but he's the hero. He always is. He was then. He is now. Alpha and Omega. Obviously, because Jesus is kind of the man. Yeah, the man. But that's how it should be. We're just the guys on the fringe who are like, we've got this crazy idea, but we're going to do it, and it's all because of this guy. Kingdom workers is the 4 bold believers who did whatever it took to get their friend to the saving and healing power of Jesus. Sounds kind of badass, right? Like they weren't just like, oh, we're gonna put around some flyers or tap this guy in the shoulder, be like, hey, do you guys, mind if we come through with our paralyzed buddy? Maybe they did try that. So what does that look like? I'm gonna talk at you now, I'm sorry. Feel free to interject. So that's good and fine in the Bible. Like, oh, we're gonna compare ourselves to these guys who just like broke through a roof and, threw apart social convention. But what does that actually look like in the world? So in Indonesia, again, these photos look terrible, I'm sorry. In the rural villages, their main water source is natural springs. So what ends up happening is the kids, I'm sorry, I keep moving. All the kids in the village spend their days like trekking a couple kilometers, because they go in cliques there, through the jungle to get to the spring and bring water home. And they just do that a couple times a day. And you can imagine like going through a jungle a couple kilometers, it takes forever. And they're just little kids. They're like, yay, hi. So there's a couple problems with that. First one, it's unclean water. I can't remember if it's the first or the second leading killer of children under the age of 4. It's the first or second, is diarrhea. Sorry. And it's from drinking unclean water. That's not really big news. We all know it's a thing. It's an unfortunate thing, but it's a thing. The second thing is because they're spending their whole day trekking water back and forth, where are they not going? Yeah, school. They're not going to school. So you can't drill a well in Indonesia because of all the volcanic rock, at least in parts of it. So we worked with the locals to come up with a water collection tank and filtration system. And the locals know how to do it themselves. We brought in some experts. We didn't know how to do it. So we got some regular Joes who had done it before. We taught the locals how to do it. And that building right there is a Lutheran church, and they're affiliated with the wells. So all these people in the village are suddenly able to, A, get clean water, and it's not a couple kilometers through the jungle, right? And then it's right next to this building where rain is literally pouring off of it and like flowing into the water tank. Of course they're gonna ask about what's going on with this building. Who brought the tank here? What's going on? Who trained these guys? Which, by the way, those guys, the Indonesian locals who you saw in this photo, they're trained, and now they're going to other villages to teach them how to do it. And they help each other. So if something goes into disrepair, this actually happened. A collection tank wasn't filtering like it was supposed to. And you can't just like call your buddy like Mr. Plumber, like, hey, right? So they like helped each other out. There's a girl just grabbing water. Like, it's no big thing. Didn't have to like sweat for it. Oh, before I get to that. So kids are spending their time in schools now, in Lutheran schools, where A, they're learning how to read and write, and just, basic literacy. And B, they're learning about Jesus. They're learning that, okay, I was born in these crap conditions, but it doesn't mean I'm worthless, right? They mean something. This is the pastor at that church, and I think he says it really well. When your kids are dying before the age of 4, most of the time, due to unclean water, and they're not going to school, and you're just going day by day, and you're spending your days trekking in and out of the jungle. It's just a day-by-day thing, right? But then when you're healthy, and you're physically capable, and you don't have to worry about what is going on with your kids, or where they're gonna be, or what's gonna happen in the jungle, or what's gonna happen when they drink the water because they're so thirsty, right? Then they can learn about God and serve each other. So here's a couple kids in school. And they can just be kids. We all were fortunate enough to have a childhood, and these kids weren't. But now they can. So that's Indonesia. There's other stuff going on there, but that's the coolest part. We're also in Malawi, and this is the part that chokes me up every time. It gets me right in the feels, so I'm sorry. In Malawi, being disabled means you're a social outcast. Sorry. The common thought is that you are cursed either because your mother sinned somehow when you were pregnant, when you were pregnant and gave birth to yourself, when she was pregnant, or your family dabbled in witchcraft. And right now, it's a bit dangerous to go. We had to cancel a couple trips because the common thought, there's this new surgence of thinking that disabled children are actually vampires and then going out at night and literally stealing people's souls. That's just the common thought. So they're social outcasts, they're shunned. Most of these kids just sit at home. Their families don't know how to care for them, and most of the time mom isn't in the picture. And that's because of the shame that you gave birth to this child. It's really sad, right? So it's the grandmas and the great aunts that take care of them. So what do we do about it? This is Anastasia. She was born weighing 2.5 pounds, just under 2.5 pounds, and there's no modern medicine in their villages. So her family, on the left side you can see them, they just wrapped her in cloths and worried and prayed over her, and she grew. And as she got older, they realized that she is both deaf and mute, but they didn't know how to help her. What do you do? But we have local volunteers in Malawi who have been trained to diagnose various disabilities. It's rough, it's a crude diagnosis, and then they work with those families and the communities to explain what's actually going on and then to find a way to fix it. So with Anastasia, there are no ASL, sign language classes, near her village. So the volunteers came up with a regular set of signs that they can use, that she can use to communicate with her family and then meet new friends at school and then with her community, right? And look at her, she's super happy. She loves to draw. She's actually my favorite. This is Matthews. I could talk about these kids all day, I'm sorry. This is Matthews. On either side of him, I don't know which one is which, but he has this pack of older women in his family taking care of him. Aunts, great aunts, grandmothers, literally great grandmothers who just love him and he loves them so much. He has cerebral palsy, a really severe case, and they didn't know what was wrong, and so he sat at home for the first 12 years of his life. And now the volunteers, they found him and they're able to work with him on physical therapy. He can sit up on its own. He's not walking yet, but he can stand, he can feed himself. And the community actually cares, right? They're finding out oh, this kid is awesome. And this is Isabel. You can see the volunteers on the right side. They're working with her. That's her grandma on the left. Right now we're serving about 450 kids, disabled children all around Malawi, and they travel, the volunteers travel on bikes to get to everywhere. So they do a weekly visit, and then it's pretty much up to the parents or who the caretaker to work with them on a daily basis. But that's huge. They're social outcasts, and then all of a sudden they're not. Their community understands that they're a person, and they understand that they're a person, a worthwhile person who was chosen and born and a child of God. I told you, it gets me right in the feels every time. So, I'll skip this one. Video. This can explain it better than I can. 4 fingers up. Yep. That's pretty cool, right? Is that just me? Yeah, so we partner with regular people, locals usually. The idea is that if we as an organization ever leave, the locals can keep up the program themselves. So it's what we call sustainable programs. They're trained, they know what to do, and I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I feel like pastors and teachers are put on this pedestal, right? And like the rest of us are kind of like, ugh. Like, do you guys have friends at MLC or even at SEM already? And it's like, and that's good. The synod should support them, right? They're going to be leaders in teaching our kids. But in my personal opinion, like, it's way cooler to be a regular person because we get to do that. The church, lowercase c, like Grace right here, isn't called to do Christian welfare, you know, to take care of physical needs. As an organization, like as a church, they don't have to do that. But we as individuals are. Each of us are called to take care of each other, not only each other, but everyone else in the world. I don't know. I think that's way cooler than, no offense, Pastor Thompson, Pastor Strong. You have a good job, though. Leading people, leading sheep, that's pretty important. Yeah. I'm gonna get kicked out soon, I think. So how can you get involved if you feel so inclined? And this isn't me telling you, sign up, and then we're gonna hound you. Money. You're broke college kids, so don't worry about it. I have to say it. We have recurring gifts that you can do monthly, like literally $10 a month. You can visit our website, set it up, $5. It doesn't matter at all, you know, over a year, that's great. To give you an idea, to serve one child in the disability ministry for a year, it's just $300. So divide that by 12, I don't know. You go to MSOE, you're probably good at math. What is that a month? Cool. Did you say 28? $8? What? No. Honestly, you could say any number, I'd believe you. I'm an art major, so. Yeah, so money. Or, this would be a good idea, if you as a group wanted to do some sort of fundraising event and then pick a ministry. It doesn't have to be the Malawi Disability Ministry, it could be anything. And it doesn't even have to be Kingdom Workers. I mean, for goodness sake. Just pick a program or a ministry that you as a group collectively want to support, and you can do that. I will walk back into the frame, I'm sorry. Second, just like us on Facebook. Facebook's dead, so just go to Instagram instead. Engagement helps a lot. So maybe you can't physically go to Malawi, or you can't give $300 a year, but just like giving us that extra like or comment or boost helps a lot in spreading the word. A globe. There's 2 parts to this. The first part is that we at Kingdom Workers are always recruiting for long-term mission workers. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, keep an eye on our website, whatever. There's a sign-up sheet if you want to hear anything from us ever again. We won't hound you to death, whatever. You can sign up if you want. Keep that in mind. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to quit school, although you're not doing anything, apparently, so you could definitely apply. Yeah, we would take you, it's fine. Yeah, do you have any, like, marketable skills? Oh, okay. You know, you would actually be really good in Chile because the unemployment rate there is like ridiculous, and they are in need of tradespeople, like really bad. So that'd be good, just an idea. The second part of this is that just look for volunteer opportunities around you. It can be through Kingdom Workers. We have like short-term stuff. If you want to do Builders for Christ, you mentioned it, so I'm pointing at you, I'm sorry. If you want to do Builders for Christ, you can go help out on a job site for literally like a day on the weekend, and then you're done. It is really fun. You can like hammer stuff. Milwaukee. What was that? Yeah.
Smart comment.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Thank you. Milwaukee. You guys, I don't think you realize that you have this really cool network going on, like connecting your different campuses. I don't know, maybe you do realize that. Maybe you talk about it all the time and like talk about the universal priesthood of all believers and like, yeah, this is so awesome. I don't think you do. But you could organize campus events, right? Do you already do that? Like on your specific campus? Yeah? What kind of stuff do you do?
What do we do, Alicia?
This stuff? This isn't on your campus. This is at Grace.
Yeah, this is Christmas party.
Okay, that's fair.
The rest are on every campus.
All right, what kind of stuff do you do?
Well, we do our own Bible studies every week.
Do you invite new people? Yeah, bring friends? Oh boy. Oh man, I'm turning someone new off. I'm really sorry. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. No, but you could like plan super cool stuff, right? To show that you actually care about the rest of your classmates. Maybe you don't. You could at least fake it, right? I know finals are coming up. You're all probably all really stressed. You have what? You're done?
They're weird. They don't
Oh, that's right. We're not talking to you. So over here. That's right. Okay. So finals are coming up. Everyone's stressed. You on the weird trimester system, like get out of here. You could partner with a local like animal rescue group, right? Bring some animals on campus for a little de-stressor. Hand out some flyers, or maybe you don't hand out some flyers. Maybe it's just like set that groundwork for letting people know that you actually exist, right? There's nothing wrong with Christian fellowship. I'm not knocking it. I'm just giving you ideas. Oh, that's another thing, because I was told to plug this. So, this is an ad. In February, if you like to be outside and do canvassing and be cold, I'm really selling this, if you can't tell. We, Kingdom Workers, are partnered with Lighthouse. I know you guys do some stuff with them, right? We need to do some canvassing. I know it's boring, and I like totally made fun of it before, but it's super important for getting the word out. We're looking for single moms to be a part of a program, because who needs more support than single moms, right? All right, this is the last little thing, and then you're done, I promise. You can stop listening to me. Not yet, though, in like 10 minutes. Something we're working on is a website. It's basically like the Tinder of Christian volunteering, except no swiping. Basically, you have, well, I'm gonna really like categorize them, so I'm sorry. Generally, you have two types of churches. Well, three, but we're gonna ignore the third. You have like really big established churches, and maybe the members are totally burnt out, right? Like they have served, and now they're like, I cannot give another ounce of myself. I'm so burnt out, right? And then you have little mission startups. My brother does one out in upstate New York. He would love some volunteers. So you have one side that is in desperate need of an infusion of energy and youth, which you all clearly have. And then you have volunteers who have the energy and youth and who want to help out. And maybe there aren't any opportunities in your city. There are plenty in Milwaukee or wherever your hometown is. Or you just want to help out someone who really needs it, right? So you create a profile. Great, it's already like Facebook, which is the devil. So you have St. John's in this example that really needs someone to help balance their books. Maybe they're a small little church, they don't have anyone. Maybe it's the pastor doing like basically all the jobs, pretty much, which is like running a business essentially. They don't know what they're doing. So they post an opportunity on LVC to be like, hey, we need someone, we need an accountant, we need a CPA so bad. My voice is crapping out. And then there's Lisa, who had already like created a profile. She's like, oh, I could totally do this from home. I don't even have to like get on a plane. I don't have to leave my house. I don't have to put pants on. I can literally do someone's taxes from my couch, right? So it goes both ways. The church can look for volunteers that fits whatever they need, and then the volunteer can search opportunities and connect with whatever they want. And it's not just canvassing. I'm gonna keep going back to the canvassing thing. It's not just canvassing. If that's not your thing, if you don't wanna talk to strangers, that's okay. If you wanna like design a flyer from your couch, that's cool. You know, we were talking about pastors and teachers. Like, I don't wanna teach. This is like totally out of my comfort zone, like just talking to you guys. Like I'm scared of anyone. Well, no, I'm just scared of people younger than me. I'm 26, by the way. You know, like, I don't really have the need to address a classroom and bring up other people's children, or I'm not a man, so I can't be a pastor. But do you know what I mean? You guys have different skills and you recognize that. And so all skills are useful. If you can chop an onion in 30 seconds, like I'm pretty sure a soup kitchen would love to have you on their team, right? You'd be getting like onion soup all over the place. So just start thinking creatively about how you can help out. I know you have limited time, you have limited resources, so does everyone. It's like the most adult thing to say. But just like start thinking about different ways that you can connect with people. So that's it. My talk is over. If you have questions, you can ask me in person. I'm right here. However, that's also my email. Feel free to connect with us on our Kingdom Worker stuff and our LVC stuff. Lutheran Volunteer Connect is not up yet. Don't go Googling for it. You're gonna go Googling. It's gonna launch sometime next year. It's just not done yet, so.